my name is Richard, and today we're presenting Take Charge, an application that helps you reduce electricity consumption and bills quickly and substantially. The idea came up around 2.5 months ago when Jim and I were basically complaining about increasing electricity prices in Malta and in Scotland, which is where we live. One of the big problems, as we saw it, is that there seemed to be very little one could do to reduce electricity consumption and spend. Short of switching off your heating and freezing to death, the obvious options are either too trivial or too expensive. For instance, investing in solar devices to somebody of average income like myself is completely out of budget. And the same applies to similar options like rewiring my entire house. In any case, installing these kinds of things in the apartment block in which we live verges on the impossible. However, instead of just paying the bills, we decided to do some research, and the first thing we realized is how little we actually knew about electricity. Because for decades, most of us have just taken it for granted. We flick a switch, and it works. So we started by listing all the appliances in my house, around 45 in a 5-roomed apartment, and we tried to figure out where my consumption is going by analyzing watt ratings and daily usage. What we discovered is that although a few appliances consume a lot individually, like the fridge and heating, almost 3/4 of my total household consumption was due to the other 40 appliances. And this was a big clue for us, because now by broadening our focus to my entire range of electrical appliances, we were able to optimize and reduce my quarterly electric bill by almost 20%. So, to borrow a phrase, what we're about is the long tail of electricity optimization, and this is what inspired Take Charge. Put simply, Take Charge provides an automated and ongoing electricity audit. It does this by first raising your awareness about where and how you're consuming electricity, and then it gives you recommendations for you to optimize your electrical use. How is this done? Take Charge provides tools for you to track your electricity consumption and bills, and this allows you to monitor your consumption over time, as well as keep an eye on how much electricity individual appliances consume. Secondly, as you use the application, your data gets compared to benchmarks on similar households, and this enables the application to formulate device-specific recommendations, enabling you to optimize all your electrical appliances. Together, all the little optimizations will add up to a healthy reduction in your electricity bill. Now, it's not just in Malta and Scotland that electricity prices have been increasing. Since 2000, electricity rates globally have increased by almost 30%, and this has been straining the cash reserves of many small households and small businesses. Coupled with concerns about climate change, we're living at a time where stress levels about electricity are at an all-time high. And what this means is that many people both want and need to reduce their consumption. Now, we have identified 2 specific ways of gaining access to the right markets and making our venture profitable. And the first is direct sales to home and business users on a subscription basis. We're at a very early stage, but we've already initiated discussions with established environmental NGOs who will help us gain access to the right markets and ensure the quality of the product. Secondly, and more interestingly, is discounted licensing to commercial organizations for custom branded versions of the application, which they would distribute to their own customer base. And here again, as an example, we've already been approached by an energy company to do just this. Now, Jim Sims and I are the core team working on this project. We're experienced at building web and desktop applications, and we've worked for and with many startups. But more importantly, we also strongly believe that these kinds of practical tools like Take Charge can have a significant positive impact on people's daily lives in the short term. So over the last 5 to 6 weeks, we've been exploring different user interfaces, figuring out what data we need and how best to present it. And what we've developed is an early prototype of Take Charge, which I'm going to show you right now. So I'm going to launch the application, which at the moment is populated with my own personal data. And it opens up in the overview section. This provides me with graphs showing me how well I've been optimizing, and below that it shows me it shows me my most important upcoming optimization tasks. Here on the bottom left, we have a few simple tools that allow me to keep track of my meter readings and bills, either manually, or if it allows it by downloading them directly from my energy company. And if I click on rooms up here, I get a list of all the appliances in my house, which I can just scroll through quickly there. And each room that I click on would show me the appliances that are just in that room. If I click on any appliance, I get information about that. For instance, the fridge here, Take Charge tells me that in this case, it consumes around 15% of my whole household consumption. It tells me approximately how much it costs me per year and a few other useful statistics about the appliance. Now, if I want to optimize how I use my fridge, I click on the Reduce Consumption button up here, and Take Charge brings up, this should be live, but obviously we had to change things around a bit. It brings up recommendations from about how to optimize my fridge. I can browse through these, and they give me information on how to make my fridge more energy efficient. If I like the ideas, I can choose to add them to my task list, and Take Charge will remind me to do them. Now, over the coming months, we'll be working at refining these features. We're already and continuing to build up the required data sets, and we're planning to have a first beta by early spring. And as a closing, we think that Take Charge is something that does share quite a little bit with this year's conference theme, because essentially it's about our love for the world we live in, and also our drive to empower those people who share the same love. Thank you.